In the previous topics, we have discussed mainly about the organism which are invertebrates and particularly the animals, and we have discussed about their fossil record, how did they evolve, or in which periods they were living. Today we are going to start with the vertebrates, and in there we will be discussing about fish and the basal tetrapods. So the fishes and the basal tetrapods both are the vertebrate group of animals. What are the vertebrates? Vertebrates are the organisms which are having their vertebral column. The vertebral column is the part of skeletal system, and it is giving support to the terrestrial as well as the aquatic organisms. So the vertebrates are the subgroup of phylum Chordata, a major deuterostome clade. And in this, we will be discussing about the evolution of fishes from Cambrian to the present day and the Paleozoic tetrapods. So the evolution of fish and the tetrapods, we will be discussing these in future. So vertebrates are characterized by skeleton made from bone. So what is bone? Bone is a tissue which is giving support to the different animals, and it is made up of apatite. Apatite, A-P-A-T-I-T-E, is apatite, which is an ore of the calcium, and it is made up of calcium phosphate in the natural form. But apatite is also formed in the bones, and the mixture of protein and minerals, they form a very callous or very robust structure which gives support to the animals. The oldest vertebrates are small fish-like creature from the early Cambrian of China. So if we see some fossils from the early Cambrian period in China, we would see some fish-like organism which are the ancestors of modern day fishes. So ancient fishes were the armored fishes were abundant in the Devonian seas and lake. What does armored mean? That means their skeleton was designed in such a way that made armor on them, and they were abundant in the Devonian seas and lake, right? So the seas and lake in the Devonian period. And after the Devonian, the cartilaginous and bony fishes radiated in the several phases. So there are the two types of fishes. One are the cartilaginous. We will be discussing those in detail, as well as the bony fishes. So first, the cartilaginous fishes developed, and even some of their members are living today as well. And so is the case in case of bony fishes. So bony fishes evolved later after the cartilaginous fishes and radiated in the several phases. That means they got extinct. Some group were, able to flourish. Some group went extinct. So, and then there are the conodonts. Conodonts are a very mystery group of fossils, and they are extinct. These were the type of fishes which lacked jaws, right? So they didn't have the jaws. So agnaths, right? So A-G-N-A-T-H. Agnaths means those are without the jaws. So these were the type of fishes, much more eel-like structure they had. And conodonts commonly occur as tooth-like elements. They are useful in biostratigraphy, as are some other fish teeth and scales, which are ichthyoliths. So ichthyoliths are the fossils which are made up of the fish teeth or other things, but conodonts were having some structures, which cone-like structures. That's why they are called conodonts. They were able to preserve in the fossil record, but their whole body was not able to preserve. So these were sort of mystery that where did these come from, but now today we know that these were a form of an ancient fishes. And then comes the tetrapods. Tetra means four, pod means the feet, so they are having the four limbs. So the tetrapods arose during the Devonian from the lobed fin fishes ancestors and fish-eating amphibians, and they diversified in the Carboniferous period. So the tetrapod originated during the Carboniferous, diversified during the Carboniferous, and they emerged during the Devonian period. And they are coming from the lobed fins. We will be discussing about the lobed fins, and we will be discussing about the origin of tetrapods as well. And after that, in the tetrapods, amphibians, and then comes the reptiles. The first reptiles were small insect eaters, and there are the different forms. One are the synapsids. They dominated the ecosystem on land during the Permian Triassic. And then comes the next group, which is the diapsid reptiles. So the synapsid groups were heavily hit by the end Permian mass extinction. And the other group, which is diapsid reptiles, most notably the dinosaurs, were key formed through the Mesozoic. So we know about the dinosaurs, and they were quite a dominant form on the surface of Earth. So now we will be discussing about that why the vertebrates are important. We know about the humans. Human, meaning ourselves, are also vertebrates. So humans are such a successful species, and they are vertebrates. And there is huge variety and abundance of species of bony fishes, birds, and mammals, which is dominating the air, land, and oceans. So the vertebrates are a successful group of organisms as a whole. So there are other groups which are as much abundant and diverse, such as insects and microbes. But the organism which you would look as dominant on the top of the food chain, as well as increased in size, will be the vertebrates. So vertebrates include the largest animal on land, in the sea, and in the air.